What do you eat every day? If India is one of the most biodiverse and multicultural places in the world, why do most of us eat roti and chawal? Is it purely a traditional thing? And where does it come from? From here? What about from them?
पहले जो उत्पादन आ रहा था वो नहीं आ रहा था। जानने को मिला कि इसमें केमिकल है, इसमें वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको, ऐसे आता है, वो नहीं है ज़मीन में। ज़मीन वो कड़क हो गई थी।
ये सब कुछ सब कुछ पैदा के लिए बनाते। हमको हम स्वस्थ है क्योंकि हमको कोई केमिकल नहीं, हम हॉस्पिटल में नहीं जाएंगे अब क्योंकि ऑर्गेनिक खाए, हमको कोई केमिकल नहीं खाए।
अभी केमिकल फार्मिंग में जो ये आया है कि ऐसे कितने भी आप ऐसे मतलब खोदो तो वो ऐसे मतलब कड़क आ जाती है।
I could see a lot of patients suffering from cancers and a lot of illnesses, which took me to this thinking that food is one of the important things that is responsible.
The Green Revolution's chemical agronomy is a miracle. It resulted in soaring productivity that made India a food secure nation. It also happened immediately after the Second World War. Corporations in America needed an alternate market for the chemical explosives they manufactured. So they repurposed these chemicals as fertilizers and convinced the world that we needed them. These ex-war chemicals were supposed to replace life.
We have trillions of earthworms which we could see in the field itself. So they are our unconditional unpaid workers, and they eat these leaves and biomass and then convert it into lovely vermicompost. For us, there are no pests. They're part of the ecosystem. There are only 10% who are vegetarian, who appear to us that they are eating the crops, leaves or fruit or the flowers. There are 90% insects, including the birds, which their food is this 10%. So there is such a wonderful coexistence we allow them to do. By the way, termites work day and night. We have a lot of hours to sleep and waste gossiping, but they do tilling of the soil such that they make tunnels, and these tunnels create aeration. The tunnels also are responsible for storing the water. You know, the best part is the water requirement has come down to 70%, thanks to part of the family that works under the ground.
All these input costs that a farmer has to go, they have continued to increase, and the income that farmer gets for his produce has not increased more than 14 to 15% since independence.
Okay, chemicals are bad and they make corporations money. But then, why don't farmers just stop buying them?
Because for conventional or chemical based agriculture, you have so much of subsidy. The fertilizer subsidies itself runs into 75-80,000 crores annually. Then you also get free electricity in many states to pump out groundwater. You also have free water supply for chemical based agriculture, which is very intensive.
Who wouldn't want to do chemical farming? It sounds like a great deal. I guess the real question is, why the free stuff? indigenous varieties would collapse when you fed them these chemical fertilizers. So, new seeds were engineered. You don't get higher yields from HYV seeds out of nowhere. You need to feed them chemicals. You need to give them 3 to 5 times more water to grow. You're literally putting more into them, so of course the output will be more as well. No miracle here. The most obvious thing to do is to go chemical free and switch back to indigenous seeds. Problem solved, right?
कि वैसे कुछ लोग केमिकल यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं लेकिन उनका पूरे खेत में कपास ही है। आपके खेत में अगर मूंग, उड़द ऐसे जो दाल वर्गीय वो अगर नहीं होगे तो आपकी सॉइल उतनी फर्टाइल नहीं होगी।
Monocultures are nutritionally impoverished. You need a variety of crops on the same soil, not only to give it various nutrients, but to give us various nutrients as well. The same acre of land using mixed cropping could produce 5 to 10 times more nutrition. But now we only get 2. Is it really because they are our traditional diet? Well, our staple was actually millets. They made up 40% of our cultivated grain. The global staples are rice and wheat. The US driven Green Revolution pushed them because they could generate cash, because they need a lot of external inputs, and so they aid commercialization of agriculture. Now, India is the largest exporter of rice, while 200 million Indians are hungry and lands turn barren.
There are lots of arguments as to why green revolution was very important, very relevant at that time, and I completely understand that. But now that we've reached this stage, there is definitely a need for us to diversify.
As customers, we might want naturally grown food, but then why do organic farmers keep asking for a higher price?
तो इसमें मेहनत ज़्यादा है, इसीलिए महंगा तो नहीं है। तो इसमें एक बार नहीं 10 बार दवाई डालनी कि बना के औषधि में से बना के, तो बनाने के लिए मेहनत पड़ती है ना, वो एग्रो में मिलती है तैयार।
Home-based inputs are made using gobar, gaushadi and a variety of plants. This cuts the companies out from the process but gives rise to another issue. Women have become the unpaid laborers of the agricultural sector.
મારો એ પ્રશ્ન હતો બેન, જ્યારે મહિલા ખેડૂતને ખેતીનું કામ આવે ત્યારે ખેતીમાં કામ વધારે કરવું પડે ને જ્યારે ઉત્પાદન આવે ત્યારે એમના પતિ કે કોઈ છોકરા કે એમના હાથમાં પૈસા જાય અને બેનને ખાસ કરીને પૈસા નહીં આપે, એ પ્રશ્ન હતો એક.
એ ગોળ ગોળ ફેંકી દેવાનું કે બિયારણ ફેંકી દેવાના, બીજું ચાલે 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 કઈ એવું નહીં, ખાલી બિયા જ નાખી 95.
એટલે મહિલા ખેડૂતો પોતાના પરિવારનું વિચારે કે એમાં કોઈ બીમારી નહીં આવે, જમીનની સાથે સાથે પોતાના પરિવારનું પણ ધ્યાન રાખે, એટલે કરીને તરફ વળવા માટે તૈયાર હોય છે. ડાંગર અથવા પલ્સીસ થાય છે તો એ કરે છે ટકાઉ ખેતી કરીને, પણ જ્યારે વેચવા જાય તો એનો બજાર ભાવ એક સરખો જ મળે.
Whatever farmers produce, not even 30% is sold as that it is being sold as conventional food, which is very unfortunate.
The APMC doesn't list a separate price for organic produce. The government hasn't been making organic attractive at all, even though we need it now more than ever.
There is this mindset among many policymakers that if we do not produce with the intensive practices, we may not produce enough food. There may be food security issues in this country. But I somehow think that sustainable agriculture practice can also produce same amount of food, rather maybe better quality produce.
The biggest miracle of Green Revolution agriculture is that it convinced everyone that it exists to feed the world. Currently, only 30% of the world's eaten food comes from industrial farms. The reality is that industrial farms produce commodities, not food.
In that degraded land, with not having enough nutrition and access to irrigation, but the millets are thriving.
They're highly nutritional. They've adapted to our environment. They need very little water and inputs to thrive. Not only are they very successful on small plots, but agrochemical industries cannot make profits from them.